If you are an established expert in your field and you have gathered enough experience that can be used to guide other people through a dedicated time period, then it totally makes sense that you can offer this guidance through a consulting service in exchange for a payment that people are willing to pay you to access your knowledge. Everybody does their consulting slightly differently. So I think Notion and Airtable play a great role in letting people build their own systems to run their businesses in their preferred way. I'll be sharing a case study on a consulting sales funnel and a system that I built for a client of mine recently. So I hope that you'll be able to take some ideas and inspiration to build your own system from here. Of course, if you would be interested in me building something customized for you, then I'll leave a link in the description below where you can reach out to me. So in this scenario, we have 4 packages to offer for consultation, and each package is connected to its respective payment and booking links. Calendly also does offer integration accepting payments on their booking links, but in this case we have those separated for the reasons that are not important for this video. So I created a table for the packages, and this package would be linked to the consultation leads table, where we will be receiving the interest from people wanting to book one of these consultation calls. The consultation leads table has the list of questions that my client would require her leads to have filled in, so that she can learn about their pain points to prepare in order to help them accordingly. In the meanwhile, the client submitting the form is going to receive an acknowledgement email, which would have been triggered by Airtable Automation on the form submission, along with the links to complete their payments and book the calls. Now, how do they receive appropriate links to their payments and bookings? It's because when they use this form to submit their request, they pick up their chosen package from this field, which shows the linked record from the package table. And on the table level, I have rolled up the relevant fields such as payment link and booking link from the package table into the leads table that we would require to be used by Airtable Automation to send them their acknowledgement emails. Let me also open automation steps to show you how it's going to create those details in the email. This automation triggers when the record enters this view. When does the record enter this view? When the submitted on field is today, the package isn't empty, so that the relevant information like payment and booking links are not blank, and email ID is not empty. For the sender account, I have connected my Gmail account and I added my subject and body text. Within the body, I can use the record info like first name, package chosen, number of support days, etc. from the record themselves into the placeholder values. I also used some rich text formatting to make the emails look more readable, and when there is a record that's in this view at the time, I can also use that record to preview the email to check how it's going to look when the actual email gets created before being sent. Here as well, I integrated my Slack account, and when connected, it will bring up all the channels available in this workspace. Just for the notification from Airtable, I have created a special channel in Slack, and I use that channel to send my notification from Airtable, so that we can instantly get notified about somebody wanting to book a call with us. With Slack also, you can use this link to learn how to use rich text formatting for the messages being sent to Slack, and add brief info from the new leads form submission. I have also added a URL link to this leads page on the interface, so we can open the leads answers directly from the interface, which looks something like this. But we'll go there a little later. On Slack integration as well, you can use this button to generate a Slack notification preview. With all these steps have been correctly put in space, I turned on the automation and added some sample lead info to test my setup. Until this part, we completed the funnel to capture the leads, but we also need a space to work on the leads inputs, create an appropriate plan to help them according to their requirements, and then drive them through the process of getting on the call with them, then moving on to the support phase, and finally completion. So I created a dashboard to work on these clients on the interface designer in Airtable. On the sidebar, this interface, which is a record review layout that I had chosen for this table, allows me to select any lead record that I want to view. I can also group the leads or records into categories that make sense here so that they can be easy to access. For the fields that got filled by the lead, I created these read-only entries to understand their problems, and then I also created a long text field into the leads table to add internal notes about them, like our own research points about them and important talking points, or whatever you think would be your best use case. I also added the status field as an editable field because we can update their status to the next appropriate value from here itself. After that, I'll go down below a little and see what's there. I added a little reminder for my client herself so that she doesn't forget about asking a feedback at the end of their call. Then after the call, she needs to update the date of call, their next course of action, their discussion points, and maybe some suggestions that she has. I also added the email template using the fields whose values will be used in that email, and I left only the field for discussion points editable so that my client can add her points into the text field from here itself. Once she is happy with how the email looks, after adding her points, she can then come down here and click on this button and send the email. When clicked, the button internally triggers an automation within Airtable, which is linked on this button here. And I can go to the button automation from this link, and here is how it works. This is a special type of trigger recently released by Airtable that can be called from the button on the interface. When clicked, it would execute the following steps down here and send the emails to the respective consultation clients, and then finally update the text field to keep track of automation run on this record. This step is to prevent sending off the same email to the client twice by accident. As you can see, the conditions checked by this step to send email checks for whether the automation field contains this text already in it. If it is present, that means this button probably has already been triggered for this record and would not proceed to the next step. But if this is the first trigger for this record from this button, then Airtable would send that email and then update the automation logs in a separate step. On the interface, the automation logs field has been added just above the button to notify the user of this particular interface that this email has already been sent for this client. This email would also contain a link to the feedback form, which comes from a separate table called feedbacks. And this link would contain the lead's Airtable record ID, pre-filled and hidden from the user. When the feedback is submitted, the Airtable record ID in the pre-filled hidden form gets picked by the third automation, and the automation finds the relevant leads record and then connects that to the feedback. And when the feedback gets linked to the client, I have added a linked gallery view to display all the relevant feedback submitted for this consultation. How did I get this pre-filled form URL to send in their email? I created this formula field and concatenated the form URL string with the corresponding record ID and used that. The automation could then find this record ID from the pre-filled form submission to find this record and link it to that. By the way, using automation to find the record ID from the form submitted and then using that to find the relevant leads and then connecting is an indirect method that I'm using. Because if I simply let the people to choose from a select field as a lead, then there is a risk of data leak because somebody might just deselect the lead and look through all other client names we have in our database. So using this indirect method here is the safest way to go about it. And this is just the most basic setup to create a system that captures your leads and guides them through your consultation process and gives them the experience where they feel like they have been taken care of well, while you don't feel overwhelmed while keeping track of all the clients you are handling together. On top of these, you can add your own processes, like maybe send a reminder email after certain days, or maybe send a follow-up email to check on how they are doing. It's up to your ideas and preferences. If you would like me to help you with the system development, then feel free to reach out to me with the link in the description. If you are here to just learn with me, Be sure to subscribe so that we can meet again on another video. This was Snigdha here. I'll see you again. Bye bye.